Hey guys, absent-minded gamer here. Hey, today we're going to take a look at something new. Well, not really that new, but it's new to Flight Simulator. The other day on the marketplace, the DHC-4 Caribou dropped, and it is magnificent. The plane will cost you $14.99, and let me tell you, it is well worth 15 bucks. So, a little history about the Caribou is that the Caribou actually took its first flight in July of 1958. The Caribou saw extensive service during the Vietnam conflict and was used militarily in over 20 different countries and is still being used today by nine other countries for civilian use. The add-on comes with 7 liveries, 2 of which are military, the rest are civilian. So jumping right in here, the aircraft is actually powered by 2 Pratt & Whitney 14-cylinder radial piston engines. These things are monsters. And I love this era of flight, and I love the sound. I love the throaty sound of these engines. So when we fire them up, the sound is equally as good. The DHC-4 also has a functioning rear cargo door, and that's all accessible from the main cockpit, which we'll be jumping into here shortly. And these guys are waiting patiently for me to do something, which we're not going to for a while. Anyways, we're going to just take a look at the interior of the aircraft after we have a look at the exterior. I absolutely love the detail in this plane. The texturing is magnificent. The windows actually have scratch marks on them, so it looks... It has the look of being well used. It doesn't look like a brand new airplane. See what I'm saying? It's just... It's fantastic. Okay, so the aircraft has a max speed of 215 miles per hour with a cruise speed of 182. It has a max range with a full load of fuel of 1,307 miles. And if it's got a max payload on board, it only has a range of 243 miles. And like I said before, it's powered by 2 Pratt & Whitney engines and has a max altitude of 24,800 feet. This thing's a monster, and it will fly into and out of just about any airfield with its STOL capabilities. Okay, so we're going to climb into the cockpit now. The cockpit does not disappoint. Now, it is important to understand that this airplane does not have an autopilot. So you're flying this thing old school. And it's actually a pretty easy airplane to fly. But the detail inside the cockpit is excellent. It's all your old style gauges. The main panel. The center console. The center console does have a GPS, but it does not tie into anything like an autopilot. So it's just there for visual reference and, you know, having a general idea where you're going. the overhead. You have your mixture, your prop, and your throttles, along with your flaps and carb heat and rudder trim. And it doesn't stop here. Right behind the pilot, or the co-pilot, is your circuit board. This actually works. There are some that don't, and this goes through for the whole cockpit. So there are some switches that don't do anything, some levers that don't do anything, and some circuit breakers that don't do anything. But the ones I've tried, they do what they're supposed to. And then right here is your rear cargo door control panel. But you also have all this other cool stuff to look at. Pretty cool. I just, like I said, I've been waiting for this one. I think I flew the one that was available years ago for Flight Simulator 2004, and then Flight Simulator 10, but it never had the detail or complexity that this one has. Now you're not gonna, it doesn't. You got to remember, this is a $15 aircraft, so this is more about visual than it is anything. Okay, so let's check out the rear compartment. So to do the rear compartment, we have to access this panel here. So what we're going to do, we are going to switch to free look in the cockpit. So that way I can move around and access some of the panels. So if I take the mouse here, I can open that into the rear compartment. And I gotta go back to free look. Okay, so now we have a view of the rear compartment. And what we need to do here is open these toggle switches. There we go. So we don't need the cabin lights on. And there is, you can lower the ramp. Yeah, that'll lower the ramp further down, I believe, to make contact with the ground. So, we're going to switch back to our showcase mode and go take a look back there. Now, if we get into the rear compartment, you have some nice little places to sleep, some seating, all very military-like. And your cargo. Now, what I did find is that if you add cargo to this, it doesn't add it visually into the airplane. But it does add a co-pilot if you want a co-pilot and whatnot. Alright, yeah, look at that. The ramp actually dropped all the way down. That's pretty cool. This, the short takeoff and landing ability is what's always appealed to me for this particular airplane, because I like flying in remote places. So this is going to be my new bird for a while. All right, and the other thing I like is this is kind of reminds me of the old B-24 cockpit where you got to step up into the cockpit. And there we are. So let's close that ramp and get those engines started. Gonna close. Bring the ramp up first. Realistically, I probably should have brought the ramp up first and then closed the doors. But anyways, onward. So we're going to jump back outside and fire up the engines. Okay, so I've switched the livery to show you a different livery. And we're going to go ahead and fire up the engines. That guy's got to stand right in front, huh? Now, you can follow the checklist. The checklist will allow you to start the plane the way it's meant to be started. I just did it this way, kind of to keep the video short and sweet, so that's why I'm going this route instead. Alright, what do you say we get in and fly this thing? Alright, we are sitting on the runway in Queenstown and we are going to be taking off. Heading runway 32, I believe. Yeah, I found that it's a very interesting place to fly, especially after this last world update. Flaps. And we're going to just take a short little circuit, fly out between those two mountains there, and we'll just come back around and land. The only thing I don't like right now, and I'm sure they'll fix it in an update, is that when you look left, your view goes to the right, and when you look right, your view goes to the left. Not a biggie, but it's kind of annoying. As you can see, we're in the Army Caribou this time around. Another nicely done livery.
Uniform Yankee Mike leaving my airspace, frequency change approved.
Queenstown Tower, Charlie Foxtrot, frequency change. Queenstown approach Charlie Foxtrot, Uniform Yankee Mike, is type 5 miles east of Queenstown.
No, I know.
2,700
I don't believe. Yeah, none of my radios are set up
transition Charlie
or
airspace.
anything. My nav frequency. We really don't have. We really don't. We're not really going anywhere. We're just gonna fly around and land back at the same airport. So
Squawk 70 tree.
I don't have
Uniform
any
Yankee
of my
Mike.
instrumentation set up.
Uniform Yankee Mike radar contact, 6 miles east of Queenstown, 2,700 feet. Cleared through the Charlie airspace.
Cleared through the Charlie airspace, Uniform Yankee Mike. Let's just line ourselves up, come right back in where we flew out of, put her down on the runway. Some flaps. Something I noticed about this particular airport is there is a lot of traffic here. At least as far as Flight Simulator is concerned. A lot of big jets. All I can say, if you have a hankering for something old, Flight Simulator, this is well worth the $15. Like I said, I like that stall capability. Come on. Just like that, we're back on the ground.
surprised I didn't have any ETC for the airport. But, oh well. You can almost smell the oil. I mean, that's the first thing I thought about when I booted this up, is that you could almost smell the oil coming from the engines. Alright, well, we'll just park it right here. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did, and I do recommend picking this one up. You won't be sorry. Alright, well that's going to do it for this flight. I hope you enjoyed it. And we'll see you in the next one.